On October 14, 2008, at exactly 2:41 a.m., a 911 dispatcher named Karen Mitchell began her shift like any other night. She had worked emergency dispatch for nearly 12 years. In that time, she had heard everything: car accidents, domestic violence, heart attacks, murders, people crying, people screaming, people taking their last breaths. Nothing surprised her anymore, at least, that's what she believed. Until the call came in. The call appeared normal at first. An incoming emergency call, no caller information, no registered address, no identification. That wasn't unusual. Karen answered immediately. 911, what's your emergency? For several seconds, there was only silence. Then breathing. Fast breathing. Shaking breathing. The breathing of someone terrified. Karen straightened in her chair. Hello. A woman finally spoke. Very quietly, almost whispering. Please help me. Karen immediately opened a dispatch report. What's your location? The woman didn't answer. Instead, she whispered. Please don't let him hear me. Karen frowned. Who? The woman sounded as though she was about to cry. The man upstairs. Karen paused. What man? The woman answered immediately. I don't know. A chill ran through Karen. Something about the woman's voice felt genuine. Raw. Terrified. Not acting. Not a prank. The caller sounded like someone trying desperately to stay alive. Karen kept her voice calm. Tell me your address. Silence. Then, I don't know where I am. Karen sat forward. What do you mean? The woman inhaled shakily. I woke up here. The dispatcher froze. What do you mean you woke up there? I don't remember anything. Karen glanced toward her supervisor. Something wasn't right. The caller continued. The room is locked. Karen immediately typed notes into her system. Can you see outside? No. Any windows? No. The woman sounded exhausted, as though she had been crying for hours. Then Karen heard something. A noise. Very faint. A creaking floorboard. The woman suddenly gasped. Then whispered, Oh God. Karen's pulse quickened. What happened? The woman lowered her voice. He's awake. The dispatcher felt a knot form in her stomach. What do you mean? The woman didn't answer. Instead, Karen heard footsteps. Slow footsteps. Somewhere in the background, moving across wood. The woman began crying silently, trying not to make a sound. Karen immediately spoke. Listen to me. Find somewhere to hide. The woman answered. I'm already hiding. The footsteps continued. Closer, closer, closer. Then they stopped. Complete silence. Karen could hear both their breathing. Nothing else. Then a man's voice spoke. Very close to the phone. Too close. Who are you talking to? The woman screamed. The line disconnected. Karen immediately initiated a trace. Police were dispatched within seconds. The signal pointed toward a remote farmhouse nearly 30 miles outside town. Officers arrived 12 minutes later. The property sat alone in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by dead trees. No neighboring houses. No lights. No movement. The officers approached cautiously. The front door stood slightly open. Inside they found dust, cobwebs, rotting furniture, signs of abandonment. No electricity. No running water. No evidence anyone had lived there in years. Yet the phone trace was accurate. The emergency call had originated from inside the farmhouse. Officers searched every room, every closet, every crawlspace. Nothing. No woman. No man. No signs of struggle. No footprints. Nothing. The case should have ended there. But it didn't, because 3 nights later, the same dispatcher received another call. Same time, 2:41 a.m. Same unknown source. Karen answered. Immediately, the same woman whispered, Please help me. Karen nearly dropped the headset. The voice was identical. Every detail matched. The caller sounded just as terrified, just as desperate. Karen checked the trace. The call originated from the same farmhouse. Impossible. Police had sealed the property. No one could enter. Yet the woman continued speaking. He's looking for me. Karen tried to remain calm. Who? The woman began crying. I don't know. The answer sounded exactly the same as before. Word for word, like a recording. Then Karen heard the footsteps again. The same footsteps. The same pattern. The same distance. The same timing. Every sound matched the previous call perfectly. The woman whispered, "He's awake." Karen felt sick. The words matched too. Every sentence. Every pause. Every breath. Everything. Then came the man's voice. Exactly as before. "Who are you talking to?" The woman screamed. The call disconnected. Again. Police searched the farmhouse that night. Nothing. Again. The calls continued. Every few weeks. Always at 2:41 a.m. Always the same woman. Always the same conversation. Always ending the same way. Investigators eventually reviewed the recordings. Frame by frame. Audio experts analyzed every second. What they discovered terrified everyone involved. The calls weren't recordings. The woman's breathing varied. Tiny sounds changed. Background noises shifted. The calls were happening live. Yet the conversation remained identical every time. For months, authorities tried to identify the woman. No success. Then came the breakthrough. A detective discovered an old missing persons report from 1994. 14 years before the calls began. The report described a 23-year-old woman named Rebecca Hale. She vanished without a trace. The last known location. The same farmhouse. Karen looked at the photograph. Her blood turned cold. It was her. The collar. The voice. The face. Everything matched. The problem. Rebecca had disappeared 14 years earlier. Police reopened the investigation. Excavations began around the farmhouse. For several days, nothing was found. Then workers discovered something beneath the basement floor. Human remains. Female. The remains were later identified as Rebecca Hale. She had been dead for over a decade. The discovery shocked the entire department. Yet the truly horrifying part happened afterward. The calls didn't stop, even after the remains were recovered. Even after the farmhouse was demolished. The calls continued. Same woman. Same voice. Same words. Every few months. Always 2:41 a.m. Always ending with a scream. Then one night Karen heard something different. Something she had never heard before. The woman whispered, "He's behind you." Karen froze. The words weren't part of the script. They had never been spoken before. The dispatcher slowly turned around. The office stood empty. No one there. Her heart pounded. The woman continued, her voice trembling. "Karen." The dispatcher stopped breathing. She had never told the caller her name. Nobody had. Yet somehow the woman knew. The line suddenly filled with static. Then another voice emerged. A deep male voice. The same voice heard in every recording. Only this time he wasn't speaking to the woman. He was speaking directly to Karen. "Found you." The call disconnected. Karen resigned 2 weeks later. She never returned to dispatch work. According to former coworkers, she refused to discuss what happened. Except for one thing. Whenever anyone mentioned the farmhouse, she always repeated the same sentence. The exact same sentence. Every single time. "If you ever receive a call at 2:41 a.m., do not answer." Because according to Karen, the woman was never asking for help. She was warning whoever answered next.